Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we are going to trim up competition pork butts. Well, this is a 2-pack that I've gotten from Restaurant Depot. You can see the money muscle here. That's kind of what we're after. We've got one on this side and then a smaller one on this side. These are boneless. Sometimes I do boneless, sometimes I do the bone-in. I like the date on these. These were a little fresher than the bone-in ones, so I decided this week we're gonna trim up the boneless ones. We're headed to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, so we're gonna get these pre-trimmed, vacuum sealed, and ready to go. First thing I do is flip them over, and these are actually IBPs, but when I'm selecting pork, man, I want a nice full fat cap. I don't want any scrapes because I'm gonna go for that meat that's underneath there, but we'll just pop her open like that. Split her like that. We'll move one out of the way into this pan over here. And then we'll take the bag off of that. And again, man, you can see the money muscle there. Man, a lot of this, if you're not a competition cook, you're probably not gonna wanna watch this because, man, we trim a lot of meat. We get rid of a lot of meat. I'll be saving all these. I mean, I save my trimmings a lot of the times, and we'll make, you know, pulled pork tacos, or we'll stick it in a crock pot. We'll make, on our brisket trimmings, we'll make Wagyu hamburgers. But like I said, if you're not a competition cook, man, this may bother you as far as how much meat we're gonna take off. But this is the guy that I'm after. So what I do is, man, I just start on top and I do thin cuts, and she's sliding around a little bit, so I will get a couple of paper towels and stick underneath her to keep her from doing too much sliding. Take a couple of thin cuts. Off the top. I'm gonna go ahead and knock a lot of this off because I'm gonna end up with roughly a 4-pound butt. That used to be the rule in KCBS, 4 pounds. So I'm used to cooking a 4-pound butt, and that's typically what I do. But I look for, right here, there's a bunch of fat veins that kind of run all together. That's kind of what I look for, this little seam, and I'll kind of make a cut there and start digging her out that way. Let's make really good pork steaks. Do all sorts of stuff with it. Just kind of rounding this edge here, because that's what I'm going to be left with, is that money muscle. And the money muscle itself is this muscle here on the front, but we'll cut a little window here, maybe we can expose. You can kind of see that money muscle right there. That's what we're after. That's what we're wanting to turn in, is that money muscle. And it's thicker on one side, it tapers down on the other. This one's got quite a bit of fat. Knock off some of that, and I may flip her over. Kind of round these edges a little bit. And take a look. This meat here, you got a fat cap there. You've got a fat cap there, and there's another fat cap. We as competition cooks refer to that meat as the bacon. It's sandwiched between 2 fat caps. And man, I think that's some of the best bite on the pork butt. I see a lot of guys score the pork butt. Man, I never score it because I don't want any of that bacon, any of this meat here, to dry out. So I leave that fat cap whole, intact, and don't really mess with it. If it's super thick, like this one's pretty thick, especially right in here, I may trim that down a little bit right there. but I really don't want to scalp it. So I may take a little bit off of it, but man, I'm going to be very careful with it because it's easy to scalp them. And if I do scalp them, man, I got a little patch I can throw back on there. But for the most part, I'm after this meat and I'm after this meat. And I'll look at my window here and see, I can probably come down a little bit right there. Take some of that off. And I'm gonna leave it just like that. I mean, that's typically what I cook. Just a little 4-pounder. I could come in here and kind of round these edges a little bit, but I'm gonna cook 4 of these on my drum. So I trim them down to where I've got options. I've got basically 4 money mussels to taste on the cutting board and see which one I like, the texture, the moisture. But you can see this pork butt, these are your tubes running down in here. Man, they've got really good marbling, and it's hard to beat marbling, so I'm after that marbling. And like I said, Restaurant Depot's been pretty good to me as far as it's quick, it's easy, it's by the house, and man, they always have pork butts. This is what I'm used to cooking, and I would tell any new cook, man, try to cook the same meat as you can week in and week out, so you kind of get used to it and learn that protein, if you will. So, but yeah, that's her. That is your money mussel.